Hi, I'm Noelle from StampingWithNoelle.com, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some paper Gerbera daisies. Let's get started. What I have done is made a special center that hopefully you can see on the video to have a little more depth, variation in color, and to look a little bit more like a real Gerbera daisy. So without further ado, I'm going to push these aside and we are going to make a daisy of our own. To do this, you're going to need 4 of the large daisies from the Daisy number 2 die and 6 of the small. In my daisies I used yellow for the centers on occasion for the small daisy parts, and at other times I used white. And one of the wonderful things about Gerbera daisies is that they come in a multitude of pleasant colors. So you can choose pinks and purples and yellows and whites. And today we're working with real red. And so saffron yellow, real red, cardstock for the large part. And then I'm bringing in just a piece of styrofoam, from which I'm going to use to mount my Build-A-Bread. This is an antique brass Build-A-Bread that I use for the centers of my daisies. This one has nothing on it at the time, and what you're going to do with your Build-A-Bread is add a layer of Crystal Effects adhesive, dimensional adhesive, and you're going to put that in the middle of your Build-A-Bread and let it sit for about a half hour to 45 minutes. Now, through the magic of video and prior prep, I have one that's ready already. It's been sitting for about an hour, 45 minutes, and so it's still tacky, but not overly tacky. And to these brads, you are going to add both some gold and some black embossed powder. And I just use a little spoon I got at an ice cream place, I believe. And I just want to take a little. I'm going to make this one a little heavier on the gold than the black, and I'm just sprinkling it in. A little excess might fly away. It's okay. Make sure to take your embossing powder, put the lid on it, and put it back off to the side before you use your heat gun. And then I'm going to tap that off around a little bit and just add a little bit of black to mine. Some of my centers I had heavier black, others I had heavier gold. The variation, if you look at a real photo of the Gerbera daisies, there's a huge variation in color as well as in the centers. You'll see some are very, very dark, some are very, very yellow. So I played with that and made my centers vary as well. Now once you have that covered, when you're using a heat tool, it will get your metal, especially on a Build-A-Bread or something like this small with a bread. So I'm going to just hold them with the pliers that I have, and we are going to heat this. I'm going to tap off a little of the powder because I put quite a bit on this one so it doesn't go blowing all over the place. But you're going to heat this, and it is actually going to make a loud noise, but then it is going to bubble up, and you're going to see not only the powder changing, but your Crystal Effects is going to bubble up and make all sorts of funny shapes. It is okay. So I don't know if you can see it. It hasn't started changing yet. There it goes. It's changing. Bubbling. I want you to see that a little bit. It's hard. You're going to heat it and just let it bubble like crazy. And it's the nature of all that bubbling of the Crystal Effects that is going to give you a lot of texture, and you can pat it down and kind of push it around afterwards, and you really want the ragged part of the bubbles. And I don't know with my lighting if you can see that very well, but that is the effect we are going for the centers of our daisies. I'm going to put that back in here to cool, and we're going to start putting our daisy together. So I'm going to just set that aside, and I'm going to pull forward my 6 small daisies. And all I did to prep these is I put my thumb in the middle and wrapped the edges up. And by giving these daisies a little bit of dimension, and I'm going to do that to all 6 of my little yellow ones fairly quickly. I guess I could have prepped that for you ahead of time so you didn't have to watch, but it'll just take me a minute. And once you have all of these folded up and prepped for gluing, we are going to use the multi-liquid adhesive glue to adhere them together. And you want a liquid glue that sets up pretty quickly. That's why I like this one, sold by Stampin' Up. And we're going to put a few dots. It doesn't take a lot, but you're going to add a little glue. Oops, there, got a little more than I needed on that one. I'll rub some of it off and put it on the next one. A few dots on all but one of your 6 yellow daisies. And once you have that glue there, you're going to stack your daisies up, making the petals alternate so that they're filling the little open gaps and giving your daisy a lot of depth. And so I'm just stacking them in there as I put each one in, making sure I'm offsetting the petals a little bit. And with the one that you haven't added the adhesive on, put your fingers, pinch it together real good. You can fluff it up now. You're going to do that several times throughout, giving it a lot of dimension. Then you're going to add another little layer of glue around the inside, and you're going to take that brad center that you made earlier that has that dimension, and I know it's hard to see in this video, but you're going to just slot that through, and then I take my tweezers and I put them up very close to the flower real quick and pull it down and just hold it on there for a minute tightly while that glue sets up to hold the brad. And you don't need to stand there and hold it till it's completely dry. What are we doing, about 30 seconds here. Just giving everything a little fluff again, holding it tight for a moment, and then setting that off to the side while you get your red flowers ready, or pink or yellow or orange, whatever colors you're doing. So on these I'm going to do a similar fluffing on them. I'm going to leave one flat. That's going to be my bottom layer, so it doesn't really need to come up. And I'm just going to fluff them up on my other 3. And once you have those prepped, we're going to adhere them together with the liquid adhesive the same way that we did on the first, on our small daisies. So I'm going to start on the flat one on the bottom that we haven't added to, and on 2 of my others I'm just going to add a few dots of that adhesive, get all the adhesive on there, and then we're going to stack them. And again, make sure that your petals aren't all going on, that they're alternating in spacing to give your flower the most depth possible. Again, you're going to push down in the middle and hold it, squeeze it a little bit, fluff a little bit, and then once I've added my Tombow adhesive onto that, again, another range, I put a little bit more because this daisy doesn't necessarily sit everywhere. I'll take that off, and I'm going to hold it all back through, hold it tight with my finger, let that glue set up a little bit, fluff it all, and our daisy is finished. The glue will take a little while longer to dry, but that is your Gerbera daisy, and I hope that you can see on the video the level of depth that you do get, both the variation in the center, the mottled look of a real daisy, as well as the extra fluff, because we use so many layers. Real daisy has hundreds of little flowers in the middle, I believe is how it was best described to me, and I really wanted to recreate that look. Enjoy!